Have I ever said I think Edwin Diaz is freaking unbelievable and that this New York Mets team is just insanely good, probably the best of my lifetime? I'm going to say it again right now. Let's talk about it. And welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I am Watsu K99. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoy this video, please take the time to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share with a friend. I love doing the content for you. I appreciate you coming back to watch it. What a great victory by the Mets against the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. Man, there were so many people. I keep coming back to some of these just delusionally negative Mets fans who could constantly find something to complain about. You know, watching Mets social media, it's like the team has 70 wins this season. Talking about, oh, they must be hangover from the celebration last night. Yeah, the most exciting part of the celebration was petealonso getting covered in ketchup and mustard. Oh, please, some celebration that was. I mean, you know, they're in Milwaukee. Hopefully they got a couple of bratwursts and a decent beer. But, you know, that didn't. I don't think that's exactly what happened. But not Carlos Carrasco's best day on the mound. The game was not looking too optimistic. Mets were trailing 4-0 at one point, but for the second night in a row, Pete Alonso comes through with a huge 3-run homer. And these home runs he's hitting lately, they're not close. They're not sneaking over the wall. You know, these things are landing in the back of the stadium. I mean, they're almost knocking like the mascot off the slide there. Oh my goodness, he is pounding the ball. But I was so thrilled to see Franciscolindor hit that grand slam to put him up 7-4. I think that home run was even more exciting for me personally because much as I love Pete, I think there are just some people, Mets fans, media members, who are never really going to accept Franciscolindor until he has a huge postseason moment. But he could have the best regular seasons in Mets history. He could contend for MVPs, and I still think that a lot of people would point to the contract and say, he's not living up to that contract. Well, he sure lived up to it tonight, hitting that grand slam to put the Mets ahead because, like we all know, Atlanta just doesn't lose. They just don't lose to bad teams. It is so annoying. It is just so annoying. But you know what? The Mets held on. They came through. There were 12 games left to go. Edwin Diaz, by the way. I have never, ever seen a closer anywhere near this dominant in years. Since the days of Mariano Rivera, it is very hard to find a reliever who has been this good for this whole season, where the other team just they don't even have a chance. Edwin Diaz, and I'm not jinxing this, I don't have the power to jinx. If I did, believe me, sports would look a lot different in the last 30 years. Edwin Diaz has not blown a game since late May. I think May 24th or 25th, I believe it was, against St. Louis. 3.5 months, close to 4 months now. He is almost on 4 months now without blowing a save. And the way he's pitching, I mean, when he came in for the 4-out save, as soon as he struck out Rowdy Tellez, the first thing, actually, I was glad he went slider first. As of late, what other teams' strategy has been against Edwin Diaz is to go after the first pitch. They're expecting a fastball, try to hit it quickly. Because they know if Edwin Diaz gets ahead and he starts throwing that slider, you may as well just go sit down right there, then and there. But instead, Diaz started Rowdy Tellez, who has a very low batting average. He's hit like 237, 238, but he's got over 30 home runs. And he starts him with slider after slider after slider. He eventually did strike him out on a fastball up and away. He foul-tipped it into the glove of James McCann. And that was with, I believe, 2 runners on. As soon as that happened, as soon as that strikeout happened, I was like, game. That's it. He's not letting anybody back. I knew it. That I kind of was confident the Brewers were not getting another base runner, and they didn't. It was just pure domination. Diaz struck out 2 of the next 3 hitters, so 3 out of 4 total. His ERA is now, I think it's about 1.37 now. I can't even fathom an ERA like that. It's just ridiculous. I mean, from a reliever, you know, especially. So the Mets have to go for the sweep tomorrow against Milwaukee. So that's going to be an afternoon game. I know Taiwan Walker's pitching. I think it's against Adrian Hauser. And you know what? You can't even look at this as going for a sweep anymore. It's just win the next day, win the next day, win the next day. Play and win. Play and win. Play and win. And if the Mets keep doing that, it's not going to matter what Atlanta's doing. I know it seems crazy. We're scoreboard watching, but you know what? The expectation has to be simple. You have to expect Atlanta is going to win every single day because that's what they show that they do. As sick as I am to say it, you know, they did what they did in 2021 for a reason. They're a good team. But the Mets have to show now that they are better, and they very well may be. They very well may be, but I think we can pretty much assume this season, this division, is going to go down to those last 6 games of the season, particularly those 3 in Atlanta when the Mets travel down to Truist Park. And I got to say, as I've felt for a while that the Mets were always going to win this division, and they had to do it. They had to get that bye. I swear, at this point, it's not that I don't think the Mets could make it to the World Series if they had to go through the wild card round, but they are having to use every last bit of energy, heart, sweat to get through these games to win this division, to get that bye. This isn't like the Dodgers, who already have the first seed essentially wrapped up. I think whoever loses this division race between the Mets and the Braves could very well be in a lot of trouble, even though they're going to host the wild card round. They're going to host it. But I wonder how much they're going to have left in the tank for that wild card series. I think that makes winning the division just that much more paramount, that much more important. Well, let's bring on the next game. I can't wait. Back at Miller Park. That's right. It's still Miller Park to me. And have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.